Hi, thank you for joining us on TNT, a brand new week and been a fairly wet weekend here in, the south of Thailand. I noticed actually reading that they've got drought in different parts of Thailand at the moment, and the water perhaps not falling, the rain not falling where it should be. That's always the case, but we've got the wettest months of Thailand's wet season ahead of us. Usually September and October are the wettest months, so let's see if we can fill up those catchments. Now, we were following the progress of Thai Airways over the past year and slowly getting themselves out of bankruptcy. Another airline that was bankrupt mostly because of the problems from COVID-19, of course, was Thai AirAsia X. That's the international part of Thai AirAsia, mostly flying up to places like Japan and South Korea. Let's see how they're going. Nation Thailand reporting Central Bankruptcy Court approves rehabilitation plan for Thai AirAsia X. And the Central Bankruptcy Court has given approval to the business rehabilitation plan of Thai AirAsia X, and they're now ready to pursue continual growth. And a part of the expansion plan, it's going to be adding aircraft to its fleet, opening new routes, and more efficiently managing capital. And Thai AirAsia X will thus begin a planned process of repaying debts and refunding payments to passengers impacted by the inevitable cancellations. A lot of airlines still owing a lot of money to passengers for cancelled flights. I know Thai Airways has been very slow in getting money back to customers. The Thai AirAsia X CEO saying after alleviation of the COVID-19 pandemic, Thai AirAsia X has returned to a stabilised operation mode, maintaining its strength, he says, as a leading low-fare medium-haul carrier to core markets including Japan and South Korea. And he says they're going to be accelerating expansion in the Australian and Chinese markets whilst also seeking out high potential growth opportunities in India and the Middle East. And Thai AirAsia X currently operates a fleet of 6 aircraft. They're going to be adding 3 to 5 more aircraft next year, and then another 8 aircraft by 2028, bringing the total fleet to 17. So more international aircraft heading in and out of Thailand. That can only be good to slowly bring down some of these international fares. Now, whilst Thailand's been recovering quite nicely, thank you very much, in regards to tourism, not quite so fast in Vietnam. And vnexpress.net reporting Vietnam's tourism recovery slower than other parts of Southeast Asia. Though Vietnam's nearly achieved its target of welcoming 8 million foreign tourist arrivals this year, its tourism recovery rate remains lower than its Southeast Asian neighbours. And they've received 7.8 million foreign tourists in the first 8 months of this year, reaching 98% of the 8 million target. And further down there, Vietnam's 2023 target was the lowest among the 5 popular destinations in Southeast Asia. And this graph shows the targets for foreign tourists to those 5 most popular Southeast Asian tourist countries. Vietnam down there at number 5. Thailand at the top. They're expecting 30 million foreign tourists this year. Whether they'll get there or not, I think it's going to be pretty close, but might just fall short, mainly because the Chinese tourists haven't quite picked up as they expected. And this graph showing the recovery rate for the figures this year compared to back in 2019, the last full year of tourism around Southeast Asia. And Thailand doing pretty well, about 75% of the tourist recovery compared to 2019, but Vietnam lagging down around about 45% of the numbers that they were getting back in 2019. And this story from vnexpress.net. And to bring Vietnam's tourism back to its heyday, the board proposed the tourism industry boost promotion campaigns on international media about Vietnam's new visa policies. Yes, they do have some new visa policies, and I think this is part of the reason that there seems to be chat amongst Thai immigration officials about reviewing some of the immigration policies here. Starting from August the 15th, Vietnam accepts e-visa registration from citizens from all countries and territories, with the visa valid for multiple entries and for 90 days. So that's what's happening in Vietnam at the moment regarding tourism. Let's return to Thailand and an article from Pattaya Mail and the writer Barry Kenyon over the weekend. Thai immigration policy, shape of things to come. So a bit of an update on what's been rumoured and what's actually been said by the Prime Minister in recent weeks. The new Prime Minister, Sita Thavisin, has specified that immigration reform will be a priority in the new government. And entry policy in recent years has been set by the Cabinet and senior ministers, with the Immigration Police Bureau playing an enforcer rather than a policy-maker role. And the most urgent issue is to overhaul short-term tourist arrivals. So the new Prime Minister has said he wants to make tourism a priority as a bit of a quick fix to revenue raising for at least up to the last quarter this year. At present, the nationals of around 60 countries, and that includes the US, UK, EU and Australia, can receive 30 days visa exempt with a further 30 days on offer. And the TAT is urging that visa exempt should mean 90 days on entry without further ado. Okay, so 90 days, I think that's probably fair, but most people are only going to be staying for 1 or 2 weeks. By allowing a 90-day visa a 90-day visa exemption, I think it's just another way of fueling people coming and staying longer than maybe they should be. A larger issue concerns the potential mammoth markets of China and India. Currently, they require a visa on arrival, giving them just 15 days and a cost of 2,000 baht. So looking to waive the visa for these nationalities, also maybe extending the time they can come from 15 to maybe 30 days. And down the bottom there, most pundits think a trial run of visa exempt is more likely to apply to India rather than China. Because yes, there are security implications if you are waiving the visa. The story goes on the expat front. The Thailand Privilege Card has already announced the new packages for the elite visa, which will start on October the 1st. And many social media commentators have criticised the huge hike in enrolment fees, noting that the most popular 5-year Thailand elite that used to cost 600,000 baht has now gone up to 900,000 baht. And senior Thai police in recent months have predicted that the 1-year visas and extensions of stay for retirement, marriage and study, that's the ED visa, need a tightening up of the rules. And the Deputy National Chief Surachat Hakpan has pointed to alleged abuses such as applicants borrowing money from agents or language schools deliberately ignoring non-attendance at classes. Not to mention the thorny issue of comprehensive medical insurance for all. I've got a funny feeling that there is going to be a compulsory medical insurance for all these people applying for these annual visas. Yet some pundits believe that the current system will remain basically in place, perhaps with cosmetic changes such as more regular checking of expats' Thai bank account balances or extensive use of grandfathering, which means giving existing expats immunity from any future rule changes. Well, that means keeping on top of renewing your visa, because if you let it lapse, you'll have to come back under whatever the new guidelines may or may not be. We don't know yet. There's nothing concrete, but I think there's going to be some tinkering around the edges of some of these 1-year visas and the renewals. Now, a big thanks to 5 Star Marine, to Sean and the team for their ongoing sponsorship of the program. And they've got their big birthday charity bash on October the 7th. If you're in Phuket, well, come out for a great day. We're heading down to Maiton Island to watch Maiton. I think there's 2 islands there, but Maiton, where you can watch the dolphins. Hopefully they'll turn up as well. And then an afternoon at Coral Island for snorkeling, beach activities, and some nice restaurants there as well. And it's raising money for Living Waters Phuket. And they're the biggest charity here on the island. So there's no actual cost to head out on the day, but you are invited to make a donation to Living Waters Phuket. Now, there's a link to that story and also other deals for TNT viewers in the description below. It's Monday here on TNT. Let's go to some specific stories from the last couple of days, and we go to the PattayaNews.com. Intoxicated British man beaten by 2 Thai men in Pattaya, suspects arrested. And apparently the British man, Mr. Elliot S., was making a nuisance of himself while heavily drunk and disrupted a group of young Thai men drinking at the store. And the incident unfolded at about 5:10 a.m. I suspect they were not getting up early and having a drink. They were still going from the night before. And the 35-year-old British national was heavily intoxicated and continuously shouting and cursing at them, challenging first responders to fights. The authorities had to pacify the man before they could administer first aid to his injuries, which included lacerations to the head and eyebrows and a broken front tooth. They then rushed him to a local hospital. And the suspects have already been arrested. The two Thai men admitted to attacking the victim, claiming they only did so because the victim was blackout level drunk and disrupted them, continuing to bother them after they told him to go away. The British man also allegedly catcalled the girlfriend of one of the suspects, which made them go ballistic. Usually hear the term ballistic used in news stories unless it's referring to nuclear missiles. And it's reported that the victim remains under close medical attention due to several injuries, including intracranial bleeding. And the suspects are being detained and will be charged for their action, according to police, and that reported in the PattayaNews.com. Heading south, and this story from Phuket, from thePhuketNews.com. Tuk-tuk driver shoots rival in Patong taxi conflict. And Patong police remain silent on the tracing and arrest of a local tuk-tuk driver who allegedly shot a rival in the stomach during a street conflict near the entrance to Bangla Road. Now, that intersection of Bangla Road and Ratu Tit Road, it's basically a T intersection, gets very, very busy any time after 9 o'clock any night of the week. By the time officers arrived at the scene, the suspected shooter had already left in his pink tuk-tuk. And he was later identified as a 36-year-old, and still at the scene was the victim, another tuk-tuk driver identified by Patong police as a 42-year-old. And the man was shot once in the right side of his abdomen and once in his left thigh. And police found 3.30 caliber cartridge cases and one bullet. And the other two bullets are believed to be stuck inside Mr. Pongsak. And nothing has been reported regarding the results of the police's effort to track down Mr. Cosset or the cause of the conflict between the two drivers of tourist-oriented public transport in Phuket's renowned tourism city. Tourist-oriented public transport, about the only public transport available in Phuket's renowned tourism city, and that reported by thePhuketNews.com. And also in Phuket over the weekend, reported in BangkokPost.com, the body of a teenage Kazakh tourist who went missing on Friday was found on Sunday morning, washed ashore on Nyang Beach in the Talang district. Nyang Beach is right up at the very north of the island on the west coast, just near the airport. And it's been a pretty wild and woolly weekend. You wouldn't have wanted to go swimming at any beaches along Phuket during this weekend. And he was an 18-year-old from Kazakhstan. He and a friend went swimming with a friend in the sea off Nyang Beach on Friday evening. Probably a pretty foolish thing to do. And the family of the missing man arrived in Phuket on Saturday, and the Kazakh tourist's body was found washed ashore Nyang Beach on Sunday morning. The body was retrieved, sent to Talang Hospital for an autopsy. I mean, right along the whole Andaman coast, no matter if you're a really good swimmer or not, it's just not really safe to swim in these waters whilst that southwest monsoon is in full swing. We go to Khalsod English now, to their Facebook page, and China and Thailand began the Blue Strike 2023 joint naval training in the Gulf of Thailand with a total of 2,506 trainees from both sides. And the opening ceremony was held at the Sattahip Naval Base yesterday. And a spokesman for the Ministry of National Defence in China noted the training will cover sniping tactics, jungle survival, maritime search and rescue, and cross-deck helicopter landing. Of course, earlier in the year we had Cobra Gold between the US and Thai Defence Forces, and now it's time for the Chinese and Thai Defence Forces to get together. Thailand not playing any favourites. Here's just some photos from the opening ceremony yesterday. Good to see blue skies above Sattahip and the start of that particular, what's it called? The Blue Strike 2023. And yes, the rain is teeming down at the moment, some good old monsoonal rain. And speaking of the rain, let's check this story from BangkokPost.com. And thousands evacuated as typhoon, I'm going to say Haikui, heads for Taiwan. And thousands of people were evacuated in Taiwan ahead of Typhoon Haikui, with hundreds of flights cancelled and businesses closed as authorities prepared yesterday for the first tropical storm to directly hit the island in 4 years. And Haikui, which has already brought heavy rains by Sunday morning, was expected to make landfall yesterday, 5 p.m. in the afternoon. And the typhoon was packing a sustained wind speed of about 140 kilometres an hour. More than 200 domestic flights were cancelled, and authorities said they'd evacuated more than 2,800 people across 7 cities. Let's check what's going on there. We can see Haikui just made its way over Taiwan and starting to head now towards China. Looks like the worst is over for the people in Taiwan. But just going a bit further south, and we can see the remnants of the Typhoon Saola, and that hit the coast near Hong Kong and been making its way down the coast. And then as we go a bit further north, there's another typhoon. 3 typhoons in the one region, pretty rare. And this is Kurogi, heading to the southern part of Japan at the moment. So weather making the headlines at the moment in the region. Hopefully you're safe wherever you are at the moment. Going to our next story now, and Thai PBS World reports that the Prime Minister to lead his ministers in oath-taking ceremony at the Royal Palace on Tuesday, noting that the new cabinet was given the official tick of approval and the rubber stamp by the palace on Saturday. And the Prime Minister, Sita Thavisin, will lead his 31 cabinet ministers to take the oath of allegiance before His Majesty the King at the Royal Palace on Tuesday. And the cabinet scheduled to meet at Government House at 3 p.m. on Tuesday for a group photo. And after that, they will travel in passenger vans to the palace for the oath-taking ceremony at 5 p.m. And the Prime Minister is expected to deliver the government's policy statement to Parliament this Friday, to be followed by a debate. And that debate will see the opposition, led by the Move Forward Party, firing shots at the people who were their coalition partners, even as recently as a month ago. Anyway, that's Thai politics. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to run around the house and make sure there's no leaks. I'm pretty sure there isn't. But hopefully you have a good day if you're in some of these stormy conditions. Just take care, or at least take an umbrella, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.